Hello travelers! Just a few hours ago, the beta for version 6.3 has officially started, and you'd be surprised to know that despite being this early into 6.3, we've already gotten a ton of information on version 6.4 as well, from Columbina and Lana coming in version 6.3, to Varka and the Dorman Port finally showing up in the patch ahead. This video has everything you need to know about what's coming in version 6.3 and 6.4. Now, without wasting any more time, let's dive right into the video. Starting off with version 6.3, according to recent leaks from HomeDGCat and FullStopChan, we're finally expected to get the final expansion to the overall Nod Krai map. And while it might look a bit small at first glance, that's not the full picture. When you compare it side by side with both the Natlan region and the existing parts of Nod Krai, you can really see how massive this update actually is. And since it's still in its early development stage, it's very likely that the final version will be even larger than what's currently shown. With that, we're expected to get 2 new characters, and luckily, both of them are going to be 5 stars. The first one is none other than Columbina herself, the moon goddess who's been long awaited by the community since 2022, finally becoming playable in this patch. As for her kit and playstyle, she's expected to be a really strong Hydro support unit, both in terms of power and versatility. Right now, data miners are saying that she won't just be a versatile support, but she'll also be able to reduce the elemental resistance of all elements by around 15%, which is a pretty massive universal buff for almost all characters. At C0, she's already expected to give a solid 50% flat bonus to all lunar reactions, and that's not all. Columbina is also expected to provide interruption resistance to almost every element except Pyro. It's not exactly clear why Pyro is excluded, but it might have something to do with upcoming Pyro-related lunar reactions, which could tie into future updates. Anyway, moving on to her elemental skill, it applies Hydro in a relatively small radius around herself, and the effect continues even when she's off-field. Once she uses her skill, it marks enemies with this sort of symbol or shape, and this mark deals off-field lunar damage whenever your on-field character or any character in the team triggers a lunar reaction. This lunar damage is based on whichever lunar reaction type the enemy has taken the most damage from, basically letting Columbina adapt to and exploit the weaknesses of every enemy automatically. Moving on to the other character we're getting alongside Columbina, it's none other than Lana, the White Horse Adeptus from Liyue, who's finally getting her banner in this patch. As of now, data miners are saying that she is expected to be a frontline Geo DPS unit who scales with defense and can trigger lunar Geo and crystallization reactions, which can only be triggered with Hydro, meaning other elements won't be able to do the same. Also, her synergy with different characters seems a bit odd, which is making the community debate whether the White Horse Adeptus might end up on the standard banner or not. Anyway, as we're getting these 2 new characters, we're also expected to be getting 2 new artifact sets for them as well. The first set provides 20% energy recharge to its wielder, followed by its 4-piece giving 12% crit damage for 16 seconds. One thing to consider here is that if Arcane Resonance is active, the crit damage bonus from this effect will get increased by 300% of the original, which suggests that not only is Genshin upgrading the old Mondstadt characters with an improved kit, but they're also bringing a new artifact set to help them work even better. As for the other artifact set, the 2-piece bonus is really simple. It just gives you 15% extra Anemo damage bonus, nothing more to it. But the 4-piece effect is where things get interesting. Whenever the character uses a normal attack, skill, burst, or even just enters the field, they start gaining stacks of something called Cicada's Call. The amount of stacks depends on what action they do, and these stacks last for a few seconds. You can build up to 10 stacks, and every stack gives an extra 6% Anemo damage. So if you manage to max it out, that's up to 60% more Anemo damage, which is actually a pretty strong buff overall. Now this artifact set can be quite crucial for future Anemo character like Varka, and even for older units like Wanderer or Haizu. Now, during this time, we might also see the Lantern Rite return. And since we all know Hoyo always gives a new character every Lantern Rite, we can expect another character to show up here as well. On top of that, our Hydro Sovereign Neuvillette is also getting a new skin in this patch. And who knows, It might even be connected to the Lantern Rite theme. With how Hoyo loves tying festival events to story moments or character spotlights, there's a good chance this skin release won't be given in just a random event. Now that we're done with almost everything we know about 6.3, let's take a look at all the new things that are coming in version 6.4. But before that, the giveaway for 5 Blessing of the Welkin Moons is still going strong. And with that, we are only a few subscribers away from hitting the 5K milestone. Once we reach that goal, I'll be randomly selecting 5 winners from the comment section. So don't forget to like, comment, and of course subscribe as well. Getting back to version 6.4, let's move over to one of the biggest additions coming in version 6.4, the long-awaited expansion of Mondstadt. Not only are we finally getting Grandmaster Varka after being teased about him for years, but Hoyoverse is also opening up a whole new area with the introduction of Dorman Port. If you've been paying attention to the game's lore, you know this port has been mentioned countless times in voice lines and NPC dialogue, but we never got to actually see it. Until now. According to what we know so far, Dorman Port acts as Mondstadt's biggest trade connection with the rest of Teyvat. There are even notes in the lore about routes linking this port with Liyue Harbor and Port Ormuz and Sumeru. Mondstadt relies on it heavily for importing and exporting goods, which explains why it plays such a major role behind the scenes. As for its location, all signs point toward the northern side of Mondstadt, somewhere around or possibly beyond Cider Lake and the Stormbearer Mountains. Some players are even suggesting it might be close to the Snezhnaya border, which honestly could be the reason we haven't been able to explore it up until now. If that's true, this expansion could end up giving us a glimpse of some upcoming story connections as well. Moving on to the banners, in the first phase of version 6.4, the long-awaited Knight of Boreas, also known as Grandmaster Varka, will finally debut as the playable Anemo Claymore user. As of now, there isn't enough information available about his kit aside from him having great synergy with Durin and the members of Hexen Circle. Some sources also suggest that Varka and other Knights of Favonius characters will also get a special buff when used in teams. But nothing is consistent enough to call credible here, so we have to wait and see. As for the RERUN units, we can expect Varka in the first phase, followed by Shanyun as the RERUN candidate, and in the second phase, we can expect Skirk as the RERUN unit, followed by Mauvika joining as the Archon RERUN. And that brings us to the end of the video. With all the exciting content coming in the upcoming versions, along with new characters and banners, there's definitely a lot to look forward to. I hope this video helped give you a clear overview of what to expect. As always, I'll keep you updated with more details as they emerge. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any future updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.